Quail on our homestead. What an adventure this has been. I'm going to share some updates with you. Going to go over the pros and cons. You hear Behemoth talking? And I'm going to kind of update you to where we're going and where we're taking this journey with our quails. So, here we go. Hi, babies. Okay. Let's get real here about quail for a second. I gotta tell you guys, they've been one of the most challenging things on this homestead. And it's not that they're challenging, animals. It's just that it's been a challenge for me because we've just had some issues with predators this year, and so it's been, it's just been a mess. And so, and this happens. This is what happens, guys. Homesteading's not all rainbows and butterflies, and everybody gets everything perfect. So let me go over kind of what's happening and where we are with our quail and what we're planning on doing. So when we got our quail, I will link it up here. When we got our quail, it was really exciting. They were about 4 to 5 weeks old. They were feathered out, didn't need a heat lamp or anything like that. And I'm sorry if you can see my glasses fogging up. That's the curse of having glasses. But I was expecting them to start laying by, at least by 8 weeks. Well, they didn't start laying until 14 weeks. Now, that was partially due to the fact that we didn't give them supplemental lighting. They need 14 hours of light a day, and we got them in the springtime. So it wasn't really light all day long every day for them to have enough light. So they didn't start laying when I expected them to, which is of no fault of anyone. It's just the lighting situation. However, I also didn't realize that I didn't have what I thought I had. We got 5 quail. 3 were A&M, Texas A&M quail, which are the white ones you saw. And 2 were the Japanese colored quail. Now all of them are Quaternix, just different colors. Now the A&M quail are a little bigger because they were created by Texas A&M College to be pure white meat quail for food, for eating, for meat processing. But I thought I had 1 A&M male and 2 females, and then 1 Japanese male and 1 Japanese female. That's not what I had. So what I ended up having were 2 Japanese males and 3 A&M females, which is great, but when I separated them into breeding pens because I wanted to get A&M eggs and then Japanese eggs, well, the A&M eggs weren't fertile and my Japanese weren't laying eggs. Well, that's what happens when you have males in the same pen together. But what also happened was they fought like dogs. I mean, I didn't know that because they didn't fight when I was out here, but I started noticing one of the little ones had missing feathers. And I thought, that's weird. So I figured it out, found it out, and then we fixed that. Well then, as soon as we got that done and fixed, we had a weasel attack. In all the years that we have lived here, I've never in my life seen a weasel. And of the years that we've had chickens here and rabbits, we've never had a weasel issue. Possums, yes. Raccoons, yes. Bears, yes. But, we even had eagle attacks one winter. We've had things, but never weasels. So what happened was, because the quail were in a rabbit hutch, my rabbit hutches have vents at the top that don't have wire on them because the rabbits can't get out of them. They're too small. And nothing ever tries to get into my rabbits that are that small. Well, weasels can get in just about anywhere. Well, they got in and they ransacked my quail. Killed 2 of them. 3 of them. Anyhow, I was left with 1 male, 1 female. Talk about wanting to give up. Okay, here I was. I hadn't gotten any eggs for 14 weeks till they were 14 weeks old. And then as soon as they start laying, all of them die except 1 hen and 1 male. So I was kind of at my wit's end. And I thought, this is just not supposed to happen. It's just not meant to be. But I calmed down because I really wanted to try quail. Not kale, quail. So I fixed the hutch up specifically for the quail. And haven't had a weasel attack since. None of the weasels tried to get in. I've seen where he's tried to push the wire out, but he hasn't been able to get in. So that's good. Fingers crossed. So, as you saw in the second little video I had before this, we have baby quail. We are now, since our eggs are fertile, we've been hatching quail out. And I'm getting ready to put another batch in the incubator. A bigger batch, now that I can collect more. But I may also wait until these little quail start laying too, so that I'm not sitting around and having to have the eggs sit around for 2 weeks before I put them in the incubator. But here's the one thing I've noticed. A lot of you remember my blogging video where I said that my quail were like super feathered super ninjas. And a lot of you remind me of that. And it was funny. Come on, it was funny. But what I discovered with the quail that I bought that were adults already, they weren't really socialized, and so, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, a lot of people who raise quail, they don't socialize with their quail. I can't blame them. But they like freaked out every time I would go out there because they weren't used to people. Now, guys, I'm not talking about we raised these from babies and then no. We bought these at laying age almost. Okay, so they were adults. So I was really concerned about that too. My goodness, because I didn't want an animal that I couldn't not necessarily control, but that I couldn't kind of get in there and interact with. So what I'm discovering is that these little quail that I hatched a couple weeks ago, they're doing really great. They are socialized. They come up to me and they let me hold them. He has to be heard, guys. Every time he has to be heard. But they're much more socialized than the quail that we bought. So now that's not to say they won't kind of go back in wild mode when they reach maturity. Because that is what happened kind of with these guys that were adults. They started getting used to me, but then once they reached their full maturity, both males did, they just didn't want anything to do with us. So anyhow, what is our future goal for quail? So I'm going to give it a try. I am going to hatch them out. This batch will be my laying batch of hopefully we get some females in this batch. A lot more to say than the chicks I just hatched and that were hatched under the broody, because I think all of them but one is a rooster. Oh well. That's how life on the homestead goes. So we're going to try it. I'm going to hopefully these guys will start laying soon. We'll collect eggs from them. I have a separate rabbit hutch that the next batch I hatch will be strictly for meat. And we're going to try it. There's Bo. Hey, you actually get to see him in one of my videos. See? I'm telling you, he hogs the camera. He hogs it. Bo! Watch, he'll do it again. As soon as I start talking, he will. Watch. Mark my words. Anyhow. So that's our plan. That's our goal. He's such a butthead. And I'll take you along that journey. So I am planning on doing a quail processing video. Not with the blood and gore. I hear a chick out there somewhere. But, tastefully done. tastefully done. And I'll kind of take you along and show you. I just wanted to be real with you guys. I wanted to update you. I know some of you have been asking me about the quail. My sister asks me all the time. She's like, you don't talk about the quail as much as you talk about the chickens. You must not like them. But gosh, golly gee, guys, it has just been a hard journey with this quail. I mean, if it's not been one thing, it's been the next thing, and then it's been another thing, and it's kind of like, I just want to rest. I don't want to think about it. So I wanted to share it with you because I'm always talking about how real we are and how raw we are, and we share successes and we share failures. And this wasn't exactly a success, but it wasn't exactly a failure. It kind of fell somewhere in between. But I wanted to show you, wanted to update you, tell you where we are, what we're doing. Oh, the housing situation. I actually am pleased with their housing situation right now. They're in a huge rabbit hutch. I believe that all of my animals should have more than enough space, whether they're in a hutch or on the ground. And so they're in a huge rabbit hutch. They're not in one of those, some of those little cages you see. And they have a dust bathing area, a water bowl area, feed area. And honestly, these little guys are pretty, you know, they kind of sleep a lot. So I'm not making a separate run for them right now. I do give them a huge feed bowl so they can actually kick around in their feed bowl, gets that out of their system. But for now, I'm going to keep them in the hutch. I may eventually bring that run down so that they can be in a run, but give me a few months. Because if I make a run and something gets in that run and they die, it'll be the end of it. It'll just be the end of it. So that's where we are. That's our update. That's my goal. So I hope you enjoy that. If you haven't liked and subscribed and you want to, please do. No pressure. No pressure here. And then join us on Facebook. Join us on Instagram. We have a lot going on over there. And if you have any questions, ask. If you have any comments, leave them. As long as you keep them kind. Hope you guys have a great day. Happy homesteading.